Hi guys, welcome back. So World Rugby have issued their Team of the Decade, a really interesting concept, so I wanted to get into it, say what I thought, and really what I want to know is what you guys think of the team, what changes you would make. I'll go through the players and also suggest any changes I might make. But really the question is, what makes the Team of the Decade, the players of the decade? What do you prioritise? I mean, is it just the best player? Is it kind of longevity, how long they've been at the top of their game in that decade? Do you need both? Do you think about World Cup wins? For me, I definitely prioritise simply the best player. If I wanted to pick someone for my team, who would I go for? And then I would also look at World Cup wins, because I think that really dictates who the great players are as well. So if I want them on my team, I think they make the cut. So here's the team that World Rugby picked. Matawarira is in there at number 1 at the loose head. I mean, come on, he started playing in 08 and then he's gone all the way through Rugby World Cup, obviously winning it there. 117 caps at the moment, just amazing player, gets his World Cup as well, so absolutely I think that's the right call. At hooker, really hard. They've gone for Bismarck du Plessis, who was a monstrous player, but you know, Dane Coles has got to be really close. I mean, Bismarck started, you know, before the decade and he's kind of gone into the decade. Dane Coles, 2012 to 2020, so more of the decade. Plus he's got that World Cup win as well. I guess it depends what sort of player you want. Bismarck, that bit more physical, or a lot more physical potentially. Dane Coles, he's got the skill, he played out wide, plus he's got the, you know, the solid hooker skills as well. Who would I go for on my team? Well, I think I probably would nod for Dane Coles. Du Plessis, brilliant player. Don't mind either way, to be honest, but I'd have to go for Dane Coles, I imagine. At tight head, I think no argument. Owen Franks, wow, amazing. Over 100 caps. Started 2009. Got 2 World Cups in there as well. Just, you know, still going at the moment. Just brilliant. No one even close, I think, Owen Franks there. Into the second row, they've gone for Brodie Retallick as their first pick, and yeah, definitely 6'8", amazing athlete. He's got his World Cup in 2015, debut 2012, so again the majority of the decade. Just a phenomenal second row, probably the best of all time, I'd say. I think a little more debatable with Sam Whitelock. I mean, he has played the whole decade, 2010, 121 caps, 2 World Cups, so maybe not that debatable. But for sheer ability, you might say someone like Nakawara or Itoje or Alan Wynne-Jones or maybe Etzebeth could start nudging him off that spot. But really, with what he's achieved, staying at the top for so long, yeah, again, the New Zealand pair, Retallick and Whitelock, yeah, can't look past them. Okay, David Pocock. Brilliant player, what a specimen, physically phenomenal, over the ball, one of the best jacklers of all time, but he's under serious pressure. Du Sautoir was amazing in the World Cup, and then Jerome Kaino, 2 World Cups, compliments the number 7 McCaw, who's going to have to stay because he's Richie McCaw and he is the best 7 of all time. So, I mean, Kaino is incredibly close. However, this is what I've gone for. Because of number 8, Parise, I think he stays. I think he still would stand out in any team. I think he's that good, so skillful, had everything, the physical aspect and the skill aspect. I think Parise is amazing. Dwayne Vermeulen obviously had a fantastic World Cup in 2019. He's in the hunt as well. But a player that has to be in this team, simply has to be, for me, is Kieran Reed. Just a phenomenal athlete, line out, skill. He could score out wide, he could play in close, leader as well, and 2 World Cups, and you just can't leave him out for me. So I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm going to replace Pocock with Kieran Reed. I'm going to play Kieran Reed at 6, keep Parise at 7 and McCaw at, Parise at 8, McCaw at 7. So a little asterisk by his name there, but I'm playing Kieran Reed at 6. Is that cheating? Maybe, maybe not, but still I think he should be in the Team of the Decade. So 2 changes there, Dane Coles, Kieran Reed. I'm not too worried about the balance between nations. If there's more New Zealand guys, well, they've been the dominant team of the decade, so, you know, they deserve it. Haven't got a problem with that. And going into the backs of a similar thing. Conor Murray, fantastic player. First choice for Ireland for most of the decade. 3 Six Nations, Grand Slam, 2 British and Irish Lions tours. Very physical, brilliant kicking game, won some big games with Ireland. However, he is up against Aaron Smith. And again, he's been first choice for New Zealand for so long, and he's won the World Cup in 2015. And I think he probably has the edge in his pass, in those core scrum half skills, and his speed, his support work, scores tries. So I think Aaron Smith has to be in there. Conor Murray, great player, but when you're picking between the two as a coach, who would you go for? You'd go for Aaron Smith, wouldn't you? At 10, it's another New Zealander, Dan Carter, and he has to stay. Dan Carter, the best 10 of all time, probably. All-round game, they called him the perfect 10 because he had everything: the kicking, the passing, the running, the physicality and defence. Beauden Barrett is a great potential for 10, but, you know, has he quite got to Dan Carter levels? Probably not quite. Plus he's moved to 15, which maybe he's taken the edge off him a little bit recently. Pollard had a great World Cup in 2019. He's been great for South Africa in the latter part of his career. But you just can't displace Dan Carter. On the wings though, they've gone for North and Habana. Now, this is interesting. George North, debut at 18, which is amazing, in 2010, so exactly played through the decade. 39 tries, multiple Six Nations, Grand Slams. He's achieved everything with Wales. And Brian Habana, perfect classic winger, finisher supreme. However, you know, some of his career was outside of the decade. His World Cup win certainly was. And I think the guy that comes into the picture, Julian Surveyor probably mentioned, but really is Cheslin Colby. I know he's only come into the latter half of this decade, but my goodness me, his performances, especially in the World Cup, just staggering, the stuff he can do. And if you were to pick a pair of wingers, I'd go for Habana and Colby. North's fantastic, but if you were picking him between him and Colby, I think you'd pick Colby, wouldn't you? So those two for me, Habana and Colby. Colby the change there. At 12, Marnonu, yeah, sure. He played a lot of his rugby outside the decade, but quite a lot inside as well. Physical, but added bits to his game, his kicking, his passing. Just fantastic 12, offering so much threat and ability. And outside him, they've gone for O'Driscoll. Now, he's under pressure, I believe, from Jonathan Davis, Conrad Smith, maybe even Semi Radradra. Could play him on the wing, of course. But because O'Driscoll had that magic, I think he stays. That's what he had over the other two. Conrad Smith, fantastic all-rounder, just knew where to be all the time. But I think O'Driscoll's the man. I mean, Nonu and O'Driscoll, wow, what a pairing. And then finally at 15, would I change 15? Well, there's a few guys that again challenge him in certain aspects of the game, but as an all-rounder, Ben Smith, I think, was the best, definitely. You know, those arguments he should have been selected more for the World Cup, actually, in 2019. Maybe that was a reason why New Zealand didn't quite make it, I don't know. But anyway, he stays for me. So those are the changes, the 4 changes: Coles, Reed, Smith and Colby in. I think it's a slightly better team than the one they had selected, albeit I am cheating slightly by selecting Kieran Reed at 6, even though I think it'd be a phenomenal 6. Anyway, that's my team. Let me know what you think of my team of the decade, and I really want to know what your team of the decade would be, and I will catch you next time.